My name's Terry Clark Ward, and welcome to 5 o'clock, the program dedicated to finding out why interesting and aspiring foreigners come here to Wrocław to make it their home. Wrocław is a city of transition and development. If you live here, you have to be ready for changes. I'm standing here in the former iconic Moda Polska building in the city centre. At the moment it's being used as an exhibition hall. Co pani może mi powiedzieć o wystawie?
Jest to 25. wystawa wrocławskiej grafiki użytkowej, która powraca do Wrocławia po 50 latach przerwy.
Now before we meet today's guest, let's find out a little bit more about them by visiting the clue table. The first item on the table is a jar of peanut butter. Yummy. That suggests maybe this person could be American because it's quite an American product. We also have 2 books, so the person may like reading a lot. Interestingly, we also have a dwarf from a previous guest of ours, Philip Fairweather. Why is that on the table? Well, we're going to find out very soon. We also have some fridge magnets, and these fridge magnets suggest the person likes traveling because they're from various places. And finally, we also have an award for creativity. So, do you know who the guest is? Well, let's go and find out. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thanks. Our special guest today is arts and crafts enthusiast Amanda Anthony.
Hi there.
Amanda, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Please tell me, what was it that brought you to Poland in the first place?
A sense of adventure. I wanted to teach abroad, so I moved to Poland to teach English because I thought, hey, there's probably a really big market for it.
Okay, and why do you think there are so few women teaching English and, in fact, so few women traveling abroad, especially to Poland?
You know, this is a really good question, and it's something I have been thinking about because we're still having the conversation for women about traveling alone, right? Mm-hmm. Let alone moving somewhere by yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that there just still is like not societal acceptance of women being alone.
Okay.
There's a fear, but I also think that it's becoming more and more popular, right? I see on the Wrocław expats page that there are more and more women who are moving abroad, not only to teach, but to do other things.
I'm British, and if a British woman had come to Poland, because she's part of the European Union, it's quite easy to come here and work. But what about for an American woman to come here?
That was harder than I expected. You know, when I first moved here, you just have this assumption. It's an unwritten assumption, right? That everything will be easy because you're American. Mm-hmm. And I think that's our like imperialism, but it's great. But I moved here and I thought, okay, of course they'll give me residency. I'm American, I'm teaching English. And then I found out actually it's really hard to get residency as an American.
So what were your first impressions of Wrocław?
To be honest, I moved on a very gray day, like today, and I was still impressed with how beautiful it was. But I was also really happy the next day when it became sunny and you got to see it. So I moved here, and everybody's like, wow, it's so brave of you. And I was like, yeah, I guess. Because I moved here with no place to stay, knowing nobody. I still every day like went for one trip, kind of out around from Rynnek. And I loved discovering it. Okay. I love how many parks there are here. Right. I'm from Chicago, and we have parks, but they're really big ones. There's one really big one along the lakefront. There's a couple really big ones sort of inland, but other than that, it's pretty gray.
So you were attracted very much by the greenery?
Yeah, although I didn't know that when I moved here.
Right.
My plan was to live and work in Krakow.
Okay.
But I found a job here.
Too many Americans there, right?
You know, believe it or not, that was actually kind of my impression. When I looked for a job, I found one here. And I thought, okay, it's 600,000 people. It has a lot of university students. It's probably an interesting place. But I moved here sight unseen. So it was really a surprise when I started looking around and found that it was so great.
Let's talk a little bit about the clues that you left for us on the clue table. One of them in particular that really stood out was the gnome of Philip Fairweather.
Yeah.
Now, why was that on the clue table?
Well, I think it's because I painted it. So I painted that gnome at my shop, which is a paint-your-own pottery studio near Rynnek. It's called MaluMika.
one of the only in Poland, is that right?
It is. So when I first started, I thought it was the second.
Okay.
But since then, I have found a couple of other studios that are doing something similar. But we have a huge selection of forms that you can paint. And
Okay.
this one, I chose a gnome because it's Wrocław, and Philip is a singer. And so we thought that was a really cute idea for the
Yeah,
the
and it
first
was
show.
an incredible likeness to Philip Fairweather as well. So,
Well, I had to take some pictures, and then I was like, I hope he won't be offended that I'm putting some gray in his beard. I see it.
recently, you've won an award for creativity. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, that was a huge surprise and really exciting. So I got a call in the beginning of August from Wrocław.pl, the website. They said, hey, we've chosen you for one of the 30 most creative in Wrocław. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, wow. How did you find out about me? And they said, oh, our editor found you somehow. And I was like, okay, great, thank you, okay. And so we had this photo shoot, and I had this interview with Magda, and it was really a really nice time. And then the gala was in September.
Okay.
And it was so exciting because there's really a ton of creative people, and it felt wonderful to be mentioned alongside them. When I first moved here, I got a letter from Rafał Dutkiewicz.
Okay.
And it was supposed to support my teaching application to like get residency. And it said, you know, we believe that Amanda will be a good contributor to the economy of Wrocław.
Right.
And Urszan Wojewódzki still rejected me, right? But I was like, 5 years later, see, Dutkiewicz was right. I am a valuable asset to Wrocław. Ha! And now
That's
they let me
great.
stay until 2019.
Well, you
so.
seem to be an incredibly robust and determined person. And I know that you're a talented person, not just artistically in terms of painting and arts and crafts, but also in languages. So let's ask you another question, this time po polsku. Spróbujemy, dobrze?
Okay.
Może dla was to jest trochę dziwne, że Anglik zapyta Amerykanka po polsku, ale damy radę. Czy sztuka jest naprawdę bardzo ważna?
Dla mnie tak. Bez sztuki życie jest szare, po prostu. Możesz widzieć nawet na rynku, że wszędzie jest sztuka, która inspiruje nam architektura. To jest trudno.
Trudne słowo.
Tak, architektura tutaj w rynku jest sztuka. I to jest jedna z przyczyn, że dlatego, że Wrocław jest tak piękna.
Amanda, what more can be done in Wrocław to promote art?
More public art would be helpful, especially if we could make use of the blocks, especially some of the old gray ones that haven't been improved in years. I appreciate it down in like Brochów and Guy, even though they're really big, ugly blocks. They've recently repainted them with like flamingos and things. It makes it a little bit more colorful.
What was it like opening your own business in Poland?
Everybody asks me that, but the truth is that I think I had it easier. Part of the reason is because as an American, I moved here, and a lot of language schools want you to open your own business, just to start with. And what that meant is that I've had my own business since 2011.
Right.
When I decided to open MaluMika, all I had to do was go to Urszan Miejski, add a few codes, and voila!
It's done.
I transformed my business.
Talking of challenges, maybe not for you, but challenges for people in Poland, because we know that Poland is a rather homogeneous country. Most people who live here are Polish, I think 97%. So when they meet somebody like you, first of all, the shock that you're not Polish, and then the bigger shock that you actually speak Polish.
Well, they are not so shocked about me speaking Polish because especially when they come into my shop, I introduce myself in Polish and I introduce them in Polish and explain everything in Polish. But then they will listen for a few minutes and then they go, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from the States. And they're like, but why? Why did you move here?
Ja uważam, że możemy iść na jakiś spacerek.
Okej,
Co
dobrze.
myślisz, tak?
Chciałabym.
English weather today.
Indeed.
So where are we?
We are standing on the corner of Rydgera Street in the heart of Nadodrze, and you'll see why I say the heart in just a moment.
Okay.
But Nadodrze is a neighborhood that developed, it's been developing since the 1700s, but it has really developed a lot recently, and the reason I chose it is because of the revitalization. What I think is interesting about this neighborhood is that it's probably most familiar to people because most recently in this same neighborhood, a very famous American movie was filmed.
Yeah, which one?
It was called Bridge of Spies. It was by
Okay.
Steven Spielberg.
Wow.
What I'd like to show you
Okay.
is one of those places. As I said, it's a really creative, developing district, and they have really tried to reinvest in art, right? You asked me about art earlier and whether it's important to a city, and I think this neighborhood probably most embodies that.
I suppose sometimes the quest for good art and culture will take us out even when it's freezing cold and raining. And I agree with you on this.
Yeah.
You've taken us here, Amanda. What can you tell us about it?
So what I know of this is that this is Mosaic na Dodrze. It is obviously a beautiful heart mosaic, and they had a community art project where individuals did their own tiles, and then at the very end they composed this piece. What I love about it is that it shows so many different parts of Nadolce. I can see the logo of Piecownia, which is a really beautiful workshop for ceramics. You can see the Wrocław logo. You can see Old Kaffel Story, which is a fantastic blog that's telling the history of tiles in this district.
Okay.
And every person who made it is listed on this, so they can come and they can see, hey, I made that, and we made it together. And I think that really represents this neighborhood.
So it's a really beautiful project, and I would imagine that the city was supporting this.
Yes, it was supported by the city as part of the Nadolce revitalization, and I would say that it's the heart, right? This is the heart of Nadolce. I know it's called Mosaic Nadolce, but you know, this is the very heart of it, and I love that.
Amanda, where are we now?
We are in MaluMika, which is my year-and-a-half-old paint-your-own pottery studio. So I opened in May of 2015. We're here on Jagiełło Street, and it's just north of Rynek.
Okay, great. And tell us a bit about what you do here.
Well, what you do at MaluMika is you come in and you pick a form, right?
Okay.
So you can see some of the forms that we've got. If you wanted to paint this vase, then you would then design it. So, for example, we have shablone, we have like stencils or stickers,
Like
which you can use. You choose your color, and then you simply paint.
Okay.
But you can also paint your own vision, right? I
Okay.
didn't do this one with a stencil. This one obviously doesn't need a stencil.
Right.
So we've got a lot of options here to channel your creativity and inspire your creativity.
So it starts like this, you paint it, and then what happens next?
Well, what we do is that you paint it, we fire it, and it's yours. That's the whole little tagline, right?
And do you do that right here?
We do. So I've got in the back, I've got a piecownia, so a little
Okay.
kiln room where we've
Okay.
got our glazing and firing operation. The kiln that I have is pretty small, only 45 liters, but it's enough for now. And
Okay,
I hope
great.
to upgrade though.
So this is something really for everybody.
It is, and actually that's the biggest misconception I have to get over. That here at MaluMika, everybody can.
Everybody
right?
can.
Everybody can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you
Let's
can.
come here.
Si se puede. No, anyway. No, so because that's the biggest thing that I have to overcome actually with Polish clients is that Polish clients are really afraid of making something ugly, which
Okay.
I respect. So
Proszę, dacie radę, okay? Dacie radę. You just take something like this, take a paintbrush, think a little bit, design, draw. You're supported by Amanda and her team, and you can come out with something really, really beautiful like this. Now, I'd like to challenge you to put really your artistic skills to the test. And what I'd like you to do is to paint some landscapes of the city so that I can guess.
all
Are you
right.
ready?
Yes, but
Go
it will be a
ahead.
challenge.
Okay,
so
let's do it.
More for me than you, I think. All right, we'll start with something easy.
Okay. So it must be at night time. No, maybe not, maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. Okay, I can't see anything. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Sky Tower.
Ah, yes. Number
Excellent.
one. Number one.
Okay.
All right.
Is that the cathedral?
It is!
Yes! Okay, it's got two.
Okay. Okay, maybe this will help.
All right. It's next to the water. What is it? What is it?
It's not water.
It's not water. Is it the old browar Piast?
No.
Ah, yeah, that's a tram. Okay, that's a tram, and there's a clock tower. It's going past a clock tower, and it's no. Sorry, you got me.
Hala Targova. Hala Targova.
Hala Targova, of course.
The person who created this is going to be so ashamed of my representation of it.
It's a bridge. Mm-hmm. Is it? What's the name of the bridge? I know. It begins with Z. Zvijinsky Bridge.
Oh, it can be. Let's
It
go
could
with
be
that.
that, yeah. Zvijinsky Bridge.
I was going for Rudzinski. The big white one.
Ah, the big
It's
white
sort
one.
of white.
Yeah.
Grayish white.
That's true, yeah. But there's loads of bridges in Wrocław.
Lots of bridges.
It's
okay.
one of the bridges in Wrocław.
It's one of the bridges.
Yeah.
All right.
We got that. Okay.
Now that we're on the bridge theme,
Yeah.
Another one's coming.
Okay, another one. Good.
Okay, so we're going to try this one. All right. Okay. The color's important here. Mm-hmm. So.
I think I know the one you mean already. It's the one over there, but what's it called? What's it called?
Tak jest!
Tak jest. It's the Blue Bridge.
It's the Blue Bridge.
Yeah. Called Pomorski.
This one?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
What's it called?
This one is Sikorskiego.
Ah, Sikorski.
Okay.
Of course,
All right,
Sikorski.
sorry.
Obvious. Okay, see. Is that Grunwaldzki Bridge?
It's as good as it's going to get, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right,
Could have been a bit bluer, but never mind. Ah, that is Ratusz.
It is.
Ratusz. Or in American English, it would be called City Hall.
City Hall, yeah.
City Hall. But we would call it, of course, Town Hall, which doesn't sound as good as American.
My problem with town hall is that town for me implies something smaller.
Yeah?
Recognize it?
Yes, it's Grabishinsky Park.
It is.
That's a good one. With the monument to the unknown soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Yeah. National Music Forum?
Ooh, it could also be that, but that's not what it is. It's not what I had in mind.
Okay.
But it's close by.
All right, close by. Wait, Renoma.
It is Renoma.
It's Renoma, got it. Okay, brilliant.
Okay. And I
Okay.
have last one. Yeah, I think you'll get it. I think
Yeah?
you'll get it.
It's the stadium.
It is the new stadium.
Yes.
Oh, that was the fastest one yet.
Brilliant.
How exciting. Woo. All right. Whew. My skill here at MaluMika is getting people to use techniques and feeling like everybody can paint. Because as you can see, it's maybe not my strongest suit.
I
Yeah?
think you did a great job. You did a great job. I got one. I had trouble with one of them, but the others finally got there.
But you got the blue. I mean,
Got the
I do
blue.
very similar style bridges.
It's been quite an amazing day. You've done so many interesting things, and you've now brought us here to,
Bistro Narożnik.
which is
It's the corner cafe, let's say. For me, it's the same. It reminds me of Chicago, and that's one of the reasons I love it so much. I feel like I'm a promoter of Wrocław. I talk about it all the time, and it's a place that inspires me and that I always hope will inspire others. Thanks, Terry.
See you next time on 5 o'clock. It's showtime. Okay. It's time for the 5 o'clock news. Today, a jar of peanut butter was stolen in a shop. Somebody painted a gnome. People read books.
It's a trick. It's
a
not.
trick.
It was made last year.
It looks Roman.
Roman or Greek?
Is it Stary Młyn, where they sell things on a Sunday? Okay. Do you know?
This is a tram.
That's a tram.
Pretend that you knew that.